Hi everyone, it's Marcy Denning here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be creating an alternative project using the November paper pumpkin kit called Jolly Gingerbread. Paper Pumpkin is a monthly subscription. You can sign up for a 1 month, 3, 6, or 12 month subscription that it gets delivered right to your door. I love my paper pumpkin kits. I look forward to receiving them, and I do a Facebook Live every month to unveil it. So let's get to crafting today's alternative project. So here we have the card that we're going to be creating. Let me just zoom in. I have embossed and sponged that background with clear embossing powder. Hopefully you can see that. So, and I have cut down one of the houses. Okay, so let me zoom back out. We are going to be using the stacked stone stamp, background stamp that can be found in the annual catalog. And our ink colors are Blushing Bride and Cinnamon Cider. Okay, so before we get started with any stamping, I want to, this star that is part of the overlay here, I'm going to pop that out, and I used my Champagne Mist shimmer paint. You can see that this is a well-loved bottle of shimmer paint. So I am going to just take a scrappy piece of paper here, and you can see where I did the other star. Because this takes a few more moments to dry, I want to get this done right off the bat. So I'm taking a sponge dauber and inking it up from the lid, and just laying down that color. So I'm going to do it a second time to really lay on a nice thick layer. Okay, so let's pick up some more ink. All right, and we're just going to set that aside now to dry. So next up, just move that over. We are going to bring in our Stamparatus. I do apologize for the glare. There's not much I can do about that with the lights for the video. Okay, so we are going to take our Stamparatus and the background stamp, and we're going to ink it up. Move this over a smidge more. Okay. It's always a good idea to put a stamp set underneath so that you can get a good stamped image. So I'm taking my Versamark. Oh, I forgot to do a step. I'm going to take, we don't sell these anymore, but I'm taking the Embossing Buddy, and I am going to anti-static the piece of Whisper White cardstock so that, all right, so that any oils or anything like that from my hand is not going to cause the extra embossing powder to stick to the cardstock. So I'm just making sure that my background stamp is really well inked. The measurements as well as still photo will be on my blog. The link will be in the description below, and if you haven't yet, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, so that way you don't miss any future videos, as well as push that notification bell so you get notified every time I'm going live. Okay, so with a big background stamp, I find it easier to actually, you're going to do it very carefully, even though I've inked up the entire stamp, I'm gonna take and put my cardstock on top of the stamp. So that way I know it's straight or fairly straight. And because Versamark is sticky, I can be pretty assured that it's not going to go anywhere. So then I'm going to scooch this over and carefully flip that so that I can give good pressure to the back to make sure that that ink transfers. All right. I find if I pull my sleeve down, it will slide across that even better than with my just bare hand, so that it doesn't stick. Okay, as you can see, it's still stuck there, so I am very carefully going to peel that up. Oh, we've got some pink in there. That's okay. So, goodness, my lighting is terrible today. I do apologize. All right. So there we go. We are now going to put this aside and this aside. And we are going to bring in our embossing powder. I'm using clear embossing powder. This is just a container that I keep it in, and I have a little plastic spoon, and I use washi tape to secure it. Okay, so I'm going to very carefully cover. I bought this container at the dollar store quite a few years ago. I had keep all of my embossing powders in these clear containers, so that way it contains, and I have multiple jars of embossing powder in here as well, so that I have a nice thick amount. I just find it easier for me. Okay, then I'm just going to carefully tap off any excess. And I see I have a little fluff there. So let's just close this up and set it aside, because I don't want my heat gun to blow all of that powder everywhere. And then I'm just going to take my tweezers here, and these are also from the dollar store. Pick up that little bit of fluff. There we go. Off of that. Okay, when you're embossing, you want to heat up your your heat gun first, so that it takes less time to emboss. Okay, so I do apologize for the noise. So I'm just going to take my tweezers and carefully hold down so I don't blow this everywhere. Now that should be good. And you can tell it's working when your embossing powder goes from dull to shiny. And then we'll be sponging this background. And I'm going to be using a brand new product that will be available in the January to June mini catalog. One of the items that I've been waiting for quite some time for Stampin' Up! To offer is blending brushes. So we're going to be using the blending brush. I know you can't get it yet. However, if you live in Canada and can't wait till January, you could join my Sassy Stampers family, become a demonstrator, and in December, you can pre-order all of the fabulous new products that will be available from the catalog. You could actually, when you sign up, if you were to sign up the beginning of December, you can add any of the mini catalog products to your starter kit. In Canada, the starter kit is $135. No tax, no shipping in Ontario and a few other provinces. There's never any shipping on the starter kit. A few provinces do charge tax depending on the rules of that province. Head on over to my blog and click that join my team, and you go from there. You get to choose $165 worth of products. I'm just making sure that we are all, nope, right there in the center. You get to choose $165 worth of products. You cannot go over that price and add them to your starter kit. So it's pretty awesome that $165 worth of products for $135. That is quite the deal. And it's kind of like a Costco membership, being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You pay your fee to join, and then you get a discount on everything. And even when they have a sale, when Stampin' Up! Has a sale, you get that sale price on top of your demonstrator discount. The stacked stone does take a while to emboss because there's so many areas that are very fine. Covers the entire card front. All right, so now we're going to turn that off. Okay, so again, I do apologize for that loud noise. So next, we're going to give that a moment to cool down. We're going to bring in the trimmer. And we are going to take our house and we're going to put it so that that score line is in that cutting, the ditch, I guess you could call it, and cut right along that score line. And then we also need to cut off this flap here. Whoops, that's my embossing, scoring blade. Okay, so there we have our cute little house. And put this aside. Now, let's bring in our... Let's bring in our paper pierce mat and our little, this is just an offcut of the Whisper White, and I'm going to bring in my Cinnamon Cider ink pad. This is one of the in colors. All right, so we are going to ink up our Wishing You a Jolly Christmas. Now, I find that when I am stamping with a small sentiment stamp on a smaller piece of cardstock, I find it easier to use a larger block. So that way, I'm seeing the entire strip of cardstock. I find that if I was to use just the small little clear block, it kind of interferes with my visual of where the edges are. So this way I know I've got it on there when I use a larger block. So that is all the stamping we need to do with that color. So let's close that up. And let's bring in our house front. And we're going to trim that down. Now we need the Blushing Bride. And this, where did I put it? Did I not mount it? Yes, I did. Oh, it's over here. All right, so now we need this one here. This Fun Flourish. And we are going to bring that right up here. Okay. And next, oh, don't close that, we need it. Okay, this should be cooled enough. Yes, it's cool to the touch, so let's bring in the scratch piece of paper. This is not gonna, there. No, I'm gonna need another one. So let's just bring in this one, my grid paper here, because of where I've got my star there. I don't want to get into that. All right, so this is the new blending brushes. They're, I believe, $16.95 for 3. Very, very thick bristles in there. There's so many of them. It's so soft. So all you're going to do is, oh, make sure I'm in camera view. I am just going to, in a circular motion, pick up that ink. And then I'm going to just go off here just to make sure. And I'm going to start from off and I'm going to come in. And it just glides, making that ink blending so much easier. I know I had said I wasn't going to show anything too awful early because it's frustrating when you can't you can't purchase, but I was so excited for these that I thought, you know what, you're not going to mind me showing you these. It's going to get you excited. So I'm just holding here. I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way. I find that I just have more control than, it's just a habit to hold it down here. I don't know. I'm not really proficient with these. I've just started playing with them, and I'm just going to rinse it out in my sink. And I imagine you can use some mild detergent as well. So I want to have a kind of a glow, a pink glow from behind. But this is a very, very cool background stamp. And look at that color just coming up. Oh, it's just gorgeous. All right, so can you see that? Oh, so pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, I think that's good. Let's see here. Yes, that is going to be lovely. You could add as much or as little as you wanted, depending. Add in extra colors, whatever you are feeling. All right, so let's get to assembling this. All right, so this is glued straight down onto the front of that. So bring in my liquid adhesive, my adhesive of choice, especially with something like this, where I'm going to have wiggle room to move that around, and I'm just going to stick you on here. And using my door there as my visual to make sure that that is kind of, sort of. Okay, now let's take our Blushing Bride cardstock base and a bone folder. Fold and burnish. Oh, I forgot to cut an insert paper. I always like to use a insert paper with colored cardstock. Although Blushing Bride is very light and you can see through it, or you can, sorry, you can see writing on it, but I always like to just add that extra layer in there. All right, so now I'm going to make sure, because I have embossed this, it's going to be a little bit of a curl on it. So I want to make sure that I've got enough adhesive on the back to have it lay nice and flat on there. And again, all of the measurements will be over on my blog. Okay. Now we're going to glue this to the base. All right. These colors look so pretty together. All right, so now I'm just going to grab my snips and I am just going to cut straight across here, and I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal and run and I see I've got a little bit of Marshall the kitty cat fur in there. That's okay. So now I'm taking my gold twine from the, I believe it's Forever Greenery. All of the product links will be, names and links will be on my blog. You always remember everything until you go on video, and then all of a sudden your mind draws a blank. So I'm just going to take and wind this around a few times, and that Stampin' Seal is helping hold that down in place so I can manipulate this exactly how I want, making it super easy. And then I'm just going to snip, flip that over, and there you have a pretty little detail. And the nature of this twine is that it just unravels as you are snipping it, and I'm okay with that. I think it looks pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to add a couple dimensionals. That's going to help hold that in place as well. Okay, and then we're going to peel off the backings. And I'm going to just pop that oh, come on. Yeah. I want you a little higher. There we go. That looks like it's centered. All right, and now I want to add some dimensionals to my house because I want it popped up. I'm gonna have to put a mini one there. Don't be shy with these, with something like this. You want to make sure that you've got enough on here so that it's good and stable, that it's not going to collapse at all. And then we're just going to grab one mini one for the chimney. And quickly take these off. Almost done. Okay, so now we're going to center this on the card front. Okay, next, our little star should be kind of stuck to my cardstock there. So we are going to take a mini dimensional and put that right in the center. And with this being so tiny, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool, the putty end, to, come on, you want to stick to it. No, you don't. It worked yesterday. Okay, it's not going to work. All right. Usually this is nice and tacky to get this centered. So we're just going to lay that right inside. It's very difficult to do when you're not using your Take Your Pick tool. There we go. All right, so that's popped in, and doesn't that just tie that sparkle in? And now we're going to use some of the wonderful gems, and they are so pretty with that touch of gold on them. So now I'm just going to put a dot of glue here, here, and here, just to help them adhere. And we're just going to pick up 3. These to me look like the perfect accompaniment to a gingerbread house. Oh, so adorable. And there we have it. This was a bit longer video, but oh, so cute. Look at that shine from that embossing. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe down below, as well as head on over to my blog to get all of the measurements, as well as product links to purchase any of the extra supplies that I have used from my online store. And please, if you are shopping with me, please use this month's host code when shopping my online store. Thank you so much and have a fabulous day. Bye for now.